I'm Bob Mackay, author of the soon-to-be-published novel, The Forgotten, set in the Korean War. I was inspired to write The Forgotten after I read about Canadian military action in the Korean War. I subsequently had the honor of interviewing some surviving veterans of a famous battle on Hill 677 close to the South Korean village of Kapyong. One such veteran was John Bishop, who wrote a book about his experiences with the 2nd Battalion, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry in Korea. Two others, Murray Edwards and Ted 80, also shared their stories from Korea. Sadly, Murray recently passed away. I'm very grateful for the information they so generously shared and which enriched the story immeasurably. The Forgotten's characters are fictional soldiers of the 2nd Battalion, Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry. They were the first Canadian Army troops to deploy to Korea in 1950. The main character, 19-year-old Private Charlie Black of 2 PPCLI, has a lot to prove to his father and has left his girlfriend behind. He gets separated from his unit and barely catches the ship that carries his battalion to Korea. He struggles to find his place in a platoon of misfits, some of whom are anything but welcoming. When the battalion arrives in Korea, China has entered the war on the other side, and Allied forces are struggling to survive. What was supposed to be a semi-peacekeeping role for the troops has changed into an all-out war, and after a brief period of additional training, the battalion goes on the offensive from frozen peaks to muddy rice paddies. Charlie and his comrades face a determined and dangerous enemy. They are ultimately surrounded by overwhelming numbers, leaving them in a desperate battle for survival at Kapyong. I'm a Canadian Forces veteran myself, having served in a number of ships and submarines of the Royal Canadian Navy. My interest is bringing untold stories of the Canadian Forces to readers. I have 2 prior published novels. Soldier of the Horse is based on my father's service in the Canadian Cavalry, including the famous cavalry charge of Lieutenant Gordon Flowerdew's squadron in World War I. Terror on the Alert is a submarine thriller set in the Cold War. I'd love to meet you at the Forgotten's launch on Saturday, October 12th in South Surrey, BC. If you can't attend, The Forgotten will be available on October 15th at your favorite bookstore, Amazon, and other outlets. I'll also be sharing the story at many bookstores and with groups interested in Canada and the Korean War. Thanks for watching and helping to keep Canada's stories alive.